You know what? After watching a video on Ruthless TV's YouTube channel and rewatching the preview for next week, as well as the scene when Barry gets thrown out of Richard and Nancy's house, at first, I remember watching the promo for this week's episode, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Barry's running his mouth off again. But then when you hear what Nancy was telling Richard about, her concerns about being in danger, and then in the promo for next week, we know Kareem's going to show up. And it's almost as if Richard is using his home as like an underground railroad of sorts for those who are in danger of being abducted and or killed by the current administration. Barry has a point, because think of it this way. His mother irresponsibly and recklessly let Ruth come into their home, despite the fact that Barry had a restraining order on her, and then that led to Callie being abducted. Now, Richard is allowing Sharon safe haven at the house along with Dale. Sharon being a target of the president. And then you have Dale, who is being targeted by the chief of staff. So Nancy made a good point when she's like, look, I know you're keeping me in the dark about certain things. I mean, you're not supposed to talk about certain things, but when it's under our own roof, I'm wondering, are we in danger? What if something happens when you're at work, Richard? What are we supposed to do? That was probably my favorite Nancy line of the entire series, because that's like the first time in a while where she's made complete sense. It wasn't like, oh man, Nancy's saying something here, but look at her cheating on Richard. No. What she said was a legitimate concern. Are we in danger just by having Sharon here? Now, I understand, Sharon not wanting to tell Miss Nancy because, like Hunter said, let me find out you told somebody else and see what happens. So it's like, her telling Nancy had her going, oh man, now she's freaking out. I'm with Nancy. I feel like even if Sharon did not tell her anything, it would be guilty by association if Hunter found out that the butler was sheltering the people the woman he's trying to get with. It would be easy to assume everybody connected to the house, everyone in that house knows the news. Speaking of which, Ruthless TV mentioned this, and I'm saying the same thing. Where the hell is Miss Jody? There have been plenty of times where there have been loud altercations going down in the yard of Nancy and Richard's house, and she hasn't popped out once. But regardless, Barry talking about disrespect and all, it sounds arrogant because all we do is hear Barry whine and he acting like, it's his house, disrespecting me in my own home. But yeah, I will say this much. It is kind of messed up from his perspective, where it's like, she's in my parents' house talking to the man that, she apparently loves and dumped me for. But it's the argument of the bigger picture here. It's the fact that there's a lot more going on than, Barry's jealousy. But at the same time, there is that level of, well, remember the last time y'all let somebody come up in this house? And then that ended up causing trouble, Ruth with Callie. And now Sharon being here could endanger all of us because, like Sharon told Richard, he already knows, he mentioned your name. It's like Sam, the butler, Richard. So, yeah, I mean, I think Barry has a point. He needs to tone it down a bit, and I can understand him flying off the handle with Kareem, but hopefully Richard sets it straight where the strength and numbers things comes to light, especially, with him. But then again, it's like, well, Barry talks about the whole Denise thing, and also he should know the importance of keeping people safe. But, it's kind of like Priscilla and Sam. So I can see Barry's point. I love Nancy making the point of, are we in danger? So I think what I'm most looking forward to in the next episode is, Barry coming back and apparently apologizing, things being cool, but then Kareem shows up and he flies off the handle again. Let's just see how it plays out. That's why I just want to see how things play out. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think Barry is right to be upset? This kind of reminds me of House of Pain season 9, where it felt like Ella was just not being considerate of her own son's feelings at all, because it seemed like she was the main cheerleader of getting Calvin and Miranda back together. But that's just my opinion. So, do you think Richard is making a reckless move? But maybe with the upcoming meeting with the vice president, with these three people who have been tied to the administration via violence and abductions, perhaps they can bring him down, and that'll be the end of that. But let's talk about it more in the comment section below. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description. Hit subscribe and hit that bell icon and select all. That way you know when I post content on the channel.